Hello and welcome to my meditation. I am so grateful that you have joined me for this little while to relax and get peaceful and enjoy our lives together. We're going to take a slightly different tactic this morning, or it's morning when I'm recording, but it could be any time when you are watching this. So today, this time, let's begin with our 3 really nice deep breaths. Oh, I don't think I even told you. My name is Deborah Baker, and I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Healing Deborah, or follow me on Facebook, also Deborah Baker, Healing Deborah. So let's take a nice deep breath all the way down into our bellies, and then release it out slowly. Once more, an even deeper breath. And release it. And this time, I invite you to fill up all 5 lobes of your lungs. And then release it very, very, very slowly. So last week I talked about the ABCD, and I'll explain in a moment, but let's, instead of talking about it, let's practice it. Let's see how it works. I'll demonstrate how it works for me, how it worked for me this morning. And I've been practicing it every morning, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, depending upon the amount of time I have. So as we release our bodies, let's focus on our bodies for a moment and just imagine this kind of magic energy comes through from the top of your head, and the first wave comes through as pure love energy. The second wave that comes through, right behind it, is this magnet that draws out, it's a magnet around our bodies and draws out anything that no longer serves us. Any energy, any thoughts, anything that no longer serves us. We just let the magnet pull it out, and the magnet is immediately followed with divine energy. So to fill in those places where we released, with pure peace, and then another wave of love. So let's just imagine that going through our heads, faces, neck, shoulders, down our upper arms and through your upper chest, all the way through your rib cage, your back, all the way down to your elbows, all the way down your arms, lower arms, wrists to the tips of your fingers and thumbs, continuing through your torso, through your midsection, and into your pelvis, all the way down to your tailbone, down your legs, through your upper legs, your knees, your lower legs, your ankles, your feet. Now that energy is going to, kind of keep cycling through this whole meditation. So you will continue to release and replenish the whole time that you are participating in this meditation. So the ABCDs. So the A is about awaken. Awaken our awareness that we are one with the infinite, because we are infinite beings, infinite soul, God, divine energy, expressing here on earth as our individual human selves. So it's like each person and I think each pet on earth, each animal, each living being on earth is an expression of the divine. So A is an awareness of our own divinity, and I invite you to bring that awareness to the nucleus of each of your cells. That the nucleus of each of your cells is divine energy, is God, is the one presence and the one power expressing right here, right now, as you. And if you get bored looking at me during the video, or Daisy, there's the butterfly bush behind me. I've seen butterflies on it all morning, so You can look back there and see if you see some butterflies. So awakening our awareness that we are one with the infinite, that we are infinite beings. We are God expressing right here, right now. And I see God in you. I see God as you. And be is breathe. So let's breathe that idea. And we can choose to breathe, we can control our breath like we just did. But when we stop thinking about our breath, we keep breathing, right? And what keeps breathing us is God. It's the infinite. Scientists will explain the autonomous, I think. Anyway, the automatic breathing that goes on when we're not thinking about breathing, the automatic heartbeat and everything that keeps our bodies alive. I believe that the energy behind that is God, is the divine, is the one presence and the one power. Breathe some more. Yeah. God moving in, through, and as you. And C is conscious contact. So what I do in the mornings is as I am making conscious contact, as I'm conversing with the infinite, I say, this is what I would like to see happen today, or this is what I would like to accomplish, or this is my vision for the day, and I just kind of put my order in. For example, this morning I said I would like to record my meditation. Then later I have grandchildren to watch and participate in their growth. Sometimes I have a day full and it takes me a while to go through my list. Other times it's very simple but not necessarily short. So I invite you to just take a moment. We will have a little bit of quiet to listen to the infinite and to talk to the infinite, to express our heart's desire. Even if it's just one thing for the day. And one thing that I have been aware of as I've been practicing this is the outline, the form for my next book is taking shape. I'm really, really excited about that because I've been wanting to write it for several years, and I trust the infinite. I trust that when it is time to write it, it will just naturally flow out like the first one did. I mean, I would sit down at my computer one day a week, and the next chapter would come out in a couple of hours. And then I would spend the rest of that week editing it and playing with it, toying with it, and then the next week, the next chapter. But it really helped because before I started that process, I had an outline. I had an idea of what the subject was for that chapter. And so the infinite could speak to me all week long about what we were going to put in that chapter. And so each day is kind of a microcosm of that. So when you make your conscious contact with the infinite, you are creating the outline for the day and allowing God to fill in the details. Okay, so the last letter of our little exercise is D, and it is download, and we've talked about this before. So let's download what we need for the day, or however long. If you're only going to do this once, download what you need for the week. All of the infinite unconditional love. Allow it to fill your cells. Ow, mosquito won't leave me alone. All of the peace, all of the information and intelligence and wisdom, all of the courage, all of the awareness, all of the strength and the enthusiasm and the energy. We know that we are infinite beings, and all we need to do is remember that, and more the infinite energy flows in, through, and as us. All it takes is awareness. So let's take a moment before we get into our last promise that we've been discussing. We've been discussing the promises that are offered in the 12 steps, or part of the 12-step program. So before we get into that, let's just think for a moment of one thing that you would like. Don't think about how you're going to get it or whatever. So my one thing was to, actually, let's begin with the end in mind. My one thing was to have my book in my hands. And I'm excited to anticipate the meditation where I hold it up and I say, look, it's here. But we are a little ways from that. So I invite you to think of that end moment, one thing that you want, and what that end moment looks like, the pinnacle moment. Not every step along the way, and it is not your job to figure out how to get there. My book writing process is kind of a microcosm of that. I've been trying to figure out how to get there, and I have to wait until the infinite is ready to reveal it to me. So when you tell the infinite, God, the one presence, the one power, this is my heart's desire. It takes the order off its order pad, just like the old-time waitresses, and puts it in the little spinny thing. Says, all right, your order has been placed. It is in motion. And this goes right along with that promise, which is we will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. I love that. We will suddenly realize, it's like, oh my gosh, so much of my life is going well. Wow. That God, the infinite, the one presence, the one power, is doing for us. It's not all up to us. We do our part. But mostly what we do is we are open. Use me, God. Show me. Show the way, God. God is suddenly doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. I know that I could not have written my first book by myself. God is in every page. Let's just take a moment to imagine all of the ways that God is doing for us what God has done in the past for us what we couldn't do for ourselves. There was a change I needed to make in my life one time, and I knew it needed to happen. I'd been getting messages for years. But when it came right down to it, I couldn't, I couldn't push the button. I couldn't make it happen. And I said, God, I know this is what you want. This is what is right for me, but I can't seem to take that step. And so I just asked God if this is, what is mine to do, can you meet me halfway? And it happened. Someone said something to me that I needed to be said. Made me an offer I couldn't refuse. And I said, absolutely. Let's make this happen. It's amazing what God can do for us when we get out of the way, when we stop thinking that it's all up to us and recognize that it's never been all up to us. We are these human, limited vessels. And I invite you to have some compassion for your human self today. I've been processing. Mercury is in retrograde right now, which will be until October 2nd. And for me, Mercury retrograde sometimes means that things come, retro, so it's about the past. Sometimes things come up that I have a really hard time letting go of. I saw something yesterday that said, if you watched a horrible movie, would you watch it again and again and again, or would you watch it once and go, oh, I regret watching that movie, let's put it in the past? And yet the things that we are hard on ourselves about, or the fears that we have that probably will never come into fruition, we focus on them over and over again. And so I invite you in this next moment to have compassion, to recognize that your sweet human self is being human. Thinking about things you don't want to happen over and over again, which is another description of worry or fear, or but focusing on things that we don't want is so human. So have some compassion. That human self of mine, that human personality that is limited, really struggles against itself. And I have so much compassion. We are all trying so hard, aren't we? We are all trying so hard. I invite you to give yourself credit and to have compassion and love for yourself, and to see how much you're trying, and to give yourself credit. You are trying very hard to be fully spirit and fully human at the same time. And it's a challenge. But it's a challenge that you're up for, a challenge that you can do, a challenge that you have been doing your whole life. You've been doing it. So I congratulate you. And I invite you to remember, God is doing for us what we couldn't do for ourselves. God is doing for you lots and lots of things that you couldn't do for yourself. So if there's something you can't do for yourself, I invite you to say, God, can you do this for me? I can't seem to do this. I'm willing to do the work, but I can't seem to get this thing done. Or I need some direction, or I need some guidance, or I need some energy. Whatever it is that I need, God, I know you have. And I invite you to give it, to see, to help me to see that I already have it. You already have everything you need inside of you. And we trust divine timing. We trust that it will be revealed to us in, through, and as us when we need it, where we need it, how we need it. Take another nice deep breath. Oh, I hope I haven't gotten too quiet. I just realized I got quiet. Sorry. Take another nice deep breath all the way down into your belly, and release it slowly. Bring yourself back to the present moment. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, a wonderful week. I invite you to join me next week. I've been guided that there are a couple of extra meditations that I'm going to be recording. One is a meditation to fall asleep, And I can't remember off the top of my head what the other one is. I guess it's still forming. So the God, the infinite presence moving in, through, and as me, honors and recognizes and sees the infinite presence, your wholeness and your perfection, moving in, through, and as you. Namaste.